Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this update. I hope you all have your coffee ready. This is going to be a long update. Again, I do not have weatherbell.com, so we're going to have to go with Storm Prediction Center for our first outlook of today. Let me widen this screen a little bit here. Hopefully you can see this and I don't have to do another video update, but I'll try this. Okay. So again, Storm Prediction Center. We're heading to that time of year where, storms are becoming less and less frequent. Obviously what causes thunderstorms? Well, let me take a sip of coffee because it's very early and I just woke up and I'm going to take a sip and I'll get back to you on that. It is 3:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Cleveland, Ohio. So what causes thunderstorms, guys? It's essentially, to make it as simple as possible, you have a lot of cold air colliding with a lot of warm air, and this creates instability because the cold air molecules move a lot slower than the heated molecules, and it just basically creates an explosion. Almost like a nuclear explosion, if you will, where one side of the air goes down, which would be the sinking air, the colder air, and the rising air, which is the heat, because they're moving faster, they go above the slow dense particles, and that's where you get the uprising of the cumulonimbus, thunderstorm cloud drafts and whatnot. So there's a quick 101 on thunderstorms for you all today, this morning. Hopefully you're all waking up in a more reasonable time than 3:45 a.m. What can I say, guys? I'm dedicated to this. Here's day one outlooks for severe. So again, we're getting some decent severe weather for this time of year. It's not like it's October or November. In fact, I believe it was 2014 in November, we had a big outbreak, like huge. We had it was like a high risk, the highest risk you can get. There's a chart on the bottom. It's a pink risk. Let me put this down here a little bit. So that high right there, see these color charts? And that pink is at scale 5 on the high list. So day 2 outlook. So again, getting some severe weather by day 2. Day 3 kind of moves east, dissipates a bit. Day 4, it's too low, 5 too low, 6 too low, 7 too low, 8 too low. So, in other words, NOAA's not going to go all out with forecasting days 4 through 8 because they might be inaccurate, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to be inaccurate either. So, we're going to take a look at our current sea surface temperature anomalies, and then we're going to review the Jamstack model. This is going to be your winter hint number 30. So again, here's your current sea surface temperature anomalies, and it's a La Nina, guys. No other way to put it. You have the distinctive shape of the La Nina, the cool of the La Nina, the cool waters, that is. And it's big. You got the shape, the temperature, and the size. So looks to be La Nina winter next year, guys. Spread the good news. I love La Nina winters, are my favorite. Just to go off a little bit on a tangent, I first got passionate about weather in it's like September of 2010, and the following winter was tremendously snowy and cold. It was just beautiful. It was a bangbuster winter, and I remember looking at Joe Bastardi's winter forecast, and just by looking at that, God lit a fire in me, and electricity almost. Can't describe it, but ever since I looked at that image of the winter forecast of his for that year, I just lit a fire in me for weather. Some things you can't explain, but you don't need to. It's in the heart. Anyways, back to the weather. So we have a lot of warmth here in the northern Pacific. I believe a lot of that from volcanic activity that could very well still be going on there in the Pacific Ocean. That remains to be factual. But again, the Atlantic's warm. I would expect we're going to finish off the season with a bang, just as Joe Bastardi, I give him credit because I follow Mountain Weather Bro, predicted about a month ago that the season's not going to end on a light note, but it's going to go out with a flurry of a bang. So let's take a look at our NHC now, after we're nearing our 6-minute mark, and I only have 10 minutes. So we are going out with a bang here. We have Gabriel. This is looks to be a major hurricane, and it's going to pass east of Bermuda, but very, very close. So again, life-threatening surf, rip current conditions, so there's going to be a lot going on with that. Watch out if you're from Bermuda. Do not go in the waters. I don't care if you're the most experienced swimmer from California or surfer that came out to Bermuda to hang out and chill and have a vacation. You're not going to go in these waters. It's way too dangerous. At least I advise you not to. But yeah, the good news is it's not going to make a direct impact. I'm sure you'll get storms and heavy winds, but as far, and yeah, it doesn't even say, it's very close to Bermuda in terms of the winds, so this could easily tilt west a little bit, and Bermuda could get a direct impact. It's not too late for that. There's still time for this track to adjust. As you know, the modeling can become so advanced, but the weather is always going to do what it wants. No one's ever in the future, in 250 years from now, going to predict the weather perfectly, because it's God-made. It's not man-made. I don't care what the climate agenda today says. I'm not going to get into that. Maybe some of it is man enhanced or assimilated, but it's not man attributed and controlled by. So alright, so we have a tropical storm in the eastern Pacific, again heading into cooler waters, but still warm because it's in the equatorial Pacific nonetheless, so they're going to be warm there. Obviously, if you're having a hurricane there, they're going to be warm waters. Anyways, this is heading directly west. Not going to spend too much time on this because I promised I get to the Jamstack weather model, and we are going to do that right about now. So let's take a look at this Jamstack, JMA as I call it. I used to call it the JMA, but it's not the JMA, I don't think. I think it's actually called the Jamstack. I believe the JMA was a model Joe Bastardi referred to in a lot of his updates. And yes, I'm heavily influenced by Joe Bastardi in my approach and assimilation and outlook to weather. So if you haven't noticed by following me the past 15 years, the truth is out there now, as if it wasn't already. December through February, again, it's forecasting a La Nina, so we have so much evidence that it's going to be a La Nina winter. Taking a look at our 2-meter air temperature anomalies, it's a La Nina winter air pattern too, temperature pattern that is at the surface level where we live, move, breathe, and exist. So in other words, I say that to emphasize that this is the air we feel. Now you can get up in other maps where it measures the air 1,000 feet up to 10,000 feet up. So I just want to make that clear. There are maps that show the surface, then mid-level of the atmosphere, and then upper level. So this would be the troposphere, which is the lowest level of the atmosphere, and where we live, move, breathe, and exist. And it's forecasted La Nina setup again, warm to the south. It's beginning to edge away at the cool in the north. That's key. Precip anomalies, again, La Nina type, La Nina-esque, we'll call it. And we have a lot of dry air here in the southeast. That's La Nina-esque, you know, similar to a La Nina. Anyways, we have a lot of Pacific air in the northwest and neutral precip here in the Great Lakes. So I gotta stop here, and I'm gonna add some finalization comments here. That's it for this winter hint. We just reviewed the Jamstack a little bit, but make sure, please, I'm putting a lot of work and effort into this channel. subscribe, share, comment, do whatever. Spread the channel. Thanks for